June 20 and 21st at your next CEO Mastermind, you have one of the coolest, best kept secrets I think we've ever had.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So we got a special guest. So, millions in revenue is old hat. Last December, we had our very first billionaire, self-made billionaire come and talk. Well, we've gone one better. We don't have a billionaire. We can't say he's a trillionaire, but we can say his business processed over $1 trillion in cash. It was a particular merchant services company. He managed over $1 trillion in transactions. I mean, to give context.
Yeah.
If you think of something like Keep, what was formerly known as Infusionsoft, they're a
massive company, by the way.
Right, yeah, over 100 million in annual revenues, and they process about 2 billion, I believe, in annual transactions run through their merchant processing every year. And this guy's done over $1 trillion. He then exited that business, right?
He sold it for over 50 million. His exit was,
Yeah, a huge amount of money, and he's been kind of having time out, but he is getting ready for his next foray in, and he's actually coming to this event, Topher, and he's open-minded. He's looking for the next big thing. He's looking for his next entrepreneurial journey. So who knows? If you come along to this event, you just might find your next very well-heeled and very experienced business partner.
Yeah, Dan, the one thing that you're always hearing is people are going, how do I get in touch with investors? How do I get in touch with investors? I don't know. Come to our CEO Mastermind because we've got them there. And obviously there's no guarantee of funding. The opportunity alone is absolutely well worth going to.
Well, talking about opportunities, it's strategies, it's ideas, it's connections. And this year's our third annual Ultimate Entrepreneur Competition. So for where we have got some of the best, fastest growing entrepreneurs in the country sharing their top strategies, their biggest business breakthroughs. And what's interesting this year, Topher, is the audience are going to vote. There's well over £10,000 in prizes being given away, mostly in cash as well. But the audience are being asked to vote for who shares their number one strategy that makes the biggest impact on your business, i.e. you can take it, use it. And as an example, the person that won last year also won the 2023 Male Entrepreneur of the Year at the British Business
Awards. Yeah.
Right. So
pretty amazing.
And actually, Joe, you just tell me off camera about some of the strategies that have already been submitted.
Yeah, just two of the strategies alone that people are going to be taught in that competition. One of our entrepreneurs used this specific strategy that she's going to share to grow her conversion rate from 20% up to skyrocketed up to 80% conversions. That is insane. Like, even if you use that strategy and you only do a quarter as good as she did, that is massive change in terms of revenue for a company. And then the other one,
hold on, Topher, massive change. That's 4x, 20% to 80%. If you have the same number of leads, that's 400%. That's quadrupled your business. And considering the majority of the room is seven figures, business owners, I mean, that's no small feat.
Yeah, it's insane. The other one, another entrepreneur is going to be competing, sharing a strategy, what she used the strategy to take her profit from 2022. She has already achieved that in April of 2023. So all of 2022, she's compressed down into less than one quarter. That is insane.
I was looking at this individual's financials yesterday. It's pretty darn special, and it is a very special strategy. It took a while to figure it out, but she's done the hard work, and she's going to be at the event telling you exactly how she did it, so you don't have to have the painful lessons. You can just learn from her mistakes. And
let me even tease that more. Let me tease it even more by saying, not only did she figure it out, this is the single biggest challenge that entrepreneurs that are in growth mode face to be able to get into the lifestyle that they're looking for and not be working 24/7. Very cool. Right.
But Toby, that's not even the best part for me. A presentation I'm really excited about is mastering the equity game.
Yes.
Think about this. Why are you in business? There might be a variety of reasons, but really one significant one for most entrepreneurs is to build their personal wealth. And you hear an awful lot of whining of, I don't want to sell equity in my company, or I want to sell one day. But we're going to show you from two perspectives, how you can leverage equity on the buy side and the sell side, i.e.
Yes.
how you can use your assets, your skills, your expertise to get equity plays, positions in other companies so that as those companies grow, it scales your personal wealth, but also how you can leverage the equity in your company to help the company grow much more quickly. So it's going to give you a very different perspective about leveraging opportunities on both the buy side and sell side, getting equity in other companies, and also using your own equity as a leverage to grow your existing business.
And you know what, Dan, I think even for the people who sit there and go, I never want to get equity in my business. I'm like, okay, fine. But you should be thinking about how can you get equity in other people's businesses. And that's one that, like, even if you never want to sell any equity in your company, every entrepreneur, if they really want to up their game, they should be looking into the potentials for that second option, which is a really cool perspective. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got...
let's talk about our other special guest speaker, Topher. Yeah, I'm super excited about this guy.
Yeah, Andy Bass is a 2-time best-selling author. He's a growth strategist for companies that typically are doing over 100 million, right? So unless your company's doing over 100 million, it'd be very hard to get this guy into your business. Yet, the strategy that he uses for these companies works for small business. In fact, I would even argue might even work better, but obviously for him, he's intelligent. His customer base is going to be up at that level. One of the things that you speak all the time about, Dan, is you talk about how growth consumes cash. And one of the biggest lies that entrepreneurs tell themselves is that they can sell themselves into cash flow. It doesn't happen that way, right? In fact, the more they sell, the more cash flow challenges they have. And what Andy's really great at is about helping entrepreneurs who might have limited capital resource to discover where their hidden assets are in their business and how they can leverage them to minimize that consumption of cash during their growth periods. It's going to be awesome. And I'll tell you, Dan, I've had many conversations with this guy. I love him. And he asks questions that I never think to ask myself about my own business. And he's going to do the same for the group. It's good. It's not a presentation. It's a workshop.
This is what blows my mind, Topher. It's about access to higher quality thinking, right?
Yeah. Yes.
My experience is that breakthroughs, true distinctions, growth doesn't come from, it comes from different thinking. And normally that doesn't come from inside yourself. There's some external stimulus. Now that could be a book you listen to or a podcast. But more often, especially as businesses get bigger, so not startups, but when they're established companies, you know, if you're 7-figure revenues, 8-figure revenues, if you're established but trying to grow, it's increasingly less likely to come from inside your business. There's going to be an external stimulus, but you need to interact. You need to interact. So Andy asking these smart questions, but also the other entrepreneurs in the room. That's the power of Mastermind. I mean, you've got somebody in the room that was the 7th fastest growing business on the Sunday Fast Track 100 list. Yeah, you've got a whole host of people that have just achieved magnificent things. Yeah, and they've done it a variety of different ways. But what's even more potent than that, Topher, is they've also screwed up in more ways than you can possibly imagine. Like it's not smart to reinvent the wheel. Learn from other people's mistakes. So, and actually, I mean, Topher, consistently the most highly rated segment of our CEO Mastermind.
You read my mind. I was just going to talk about this.
Right, yeah, well, go for it. Yeah, I mean, tell people it's so simple, but every time people go, oh my God, that's so powerful. The whole event, the whole 2 days was worth it just for this. Yeah, so tell us
what we do is we ask every business owner that comes to your mastermind to show up with either one challenge that they need to have solved or one opportunity that they want to exploit or maximize in its potential. And then what we do is the section is called Challenges and Opportunities, where they get to present in a mastermind format with 4 or 5 other individuals. What is their challenge or what is their opportunity? And then they get ideas from those people. And I've got a new phrase, Dan, that I'm saying, which is great ideas come through bad ones, right? So you hear these ideas of how to exploit the opportunity or solve the challenge. The majority of them might be really bad, right? They may not work, but even a bad idea triggers the thought in, just like you said, there's that external stimulus that creates that internal thought, right? And it leads to those great solutions. And so it's a great opportunity to get massive solutions at scale, at speed, without having to go through it the hard way. And it's
people
awesome.
don't, Topher. I mean, that's the problem. It just swims around in your head and you get stuck inside your business, looping around it like it's your own echo chamber, right? And it's flawed thinking and you stay frustrated and stuck. As soon as you, and that's why, as much as I love the flexibility of being virtual, like we're able to record this right now, despite us being on different continents, there's something very potent about being in the same room together, away from the office. I'm out of office. I'm at this session, which, in my experience, leads to far greater stimulation of ideas.
No doubt about it. Some of the best thinking and best ideas don't even come from being in the room at the CEO mastermind. It comes from being in the break room or at the restaurant or at the bar afterward, where you're just having these conversations where if you're the kind of person that's looking to have quality, deep conversations with other like-minded entrepreneurs that are playing at that same level, there's no better place to show up.
Well, I mean, Toby, here's a great example of this, right? How you never know. So we mentioned earlier, we had a billionaire who's, he doesn't like his name being bandied around, but a self-made multi-billionaire who attended our event as a guest speaker in December. And subsequently, I was chatting with him at dinner and we ended up building a relationship, being friends. I've been to a few of his different homes. And right now we're not quite there yet. So I can't say that I am there, but we found an opportunity and it might be by the time we're at this event, we will have signed the deal and become business partners in investing into an opportunity that we found.
For one of your members who was at the event. That's important to say, right? They came, they spoke, they met, and now they might be in business. That's
right.
Just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so I need to disclaim that. Look, somebody listening to this, you might not be looking for a partner or investment at all. It's not about that. The point is, if you bring smart people together that have got a similar vision to grow, to expand, to make an impact in the world, they really want to help and they want to have fun solving great business problems. That's how you do it. You get in the room, like stuff that just can't happen if it's. Zoom is great, but it's much more transactional. If you're in the room, rubbing shoulders, just building rapport, making friends. I'm not a social guy, but I'm infinitely more social and enjoy it if it's my kind of people. So this is business owners with real companies that are looking to scale and grow.
Yeah. Talking about growth, by the way, let's talk about one of the other segments we're talking about, which is how to disrupt your own value chain. I'm stoked for this exercise. So from a value chain perspective, here's kind of how I look at it, right? Entrepreneurs are really great at coming up with simplistic solutions to complex problems. Here's a problem. I'm going to come up with a solution, either in product or service, right? But rarely do they take the time to sit back and go, okay, but what's the complexity of the value chain that I'm creating for my customers? And a value chain starts when the customer says, I'm ready to buy, right? And I'll give you two examples of this. One is that you should be looking at your competitors' value chains and find ways to disrupt those, right? So classic example, Blockbuster Video. If you look at their value chain, okay, what has to happen? Customer had to drive to the store, value destruction. Then they got to walk through the aisles and shop, value creation because it's entertaining. Then they had to rent and pay for the product, value destruction, and drive home, value destruction, watch it, value creation, rewind it, value destruction, return it, value destruction. Netflix comes along and says, how can we take away some of that destruction and just create more creation? And what they did is they eliminated the need to drive, right? So now it's just go online and shop, value creation, purchase it, rent it, which, by the way, it was a membership even back then. So it's not like you had to pay. So there was no value destruction in terms of the friction of sharing money. You had to wait for the DVD to come in the mail, value destruction, watch it, value creation, return it in the mail, small value destruction, right? And they crushed the industry of Blockbuster. But then they did something even more important where I think our entrepreneurs that come to this event will really benefit from it, which is they did a biopsy on their own value chain that they've created, right? And they said, okay, well, you still have to wait for the CD. You still have to return the CD. How do we get rid of those? And they went digital, right? So now it's literally shop for the video, value creation, click the button and watch. It's all value creation. There's no destruction.
Here's a problem I want to insert. Here's a problem. Somebody's listening to this right now and they're making the mistake, Topher, of thinking this is about, it's about being online. It's not.
No.
This is about your business. where, what's going on in your business? Where are you destroying value and creating the space so you can change it?
Yeah. Well, also, by the way, looking at your value chain and saying, does it even make sense for your business as well? Another classic example, Starbucks used to have, you'd walk into the store, you would order, you would receive the coffee, you would pay for the coffee. And it worked really great. The customers loved it, right? But they discovered that people would order the coffee, get the coffee, and then skip the line and not pay. And they were losing, I don't remember what it was, some insane amount, like 13 or 30%. I can't remember what it was. And all of a sudden they realized our value chain might be great for our customers, but it's destructive for us. So they swapped it around. Now, what do you do when you go to Starbucks? You order the coffee, you pay for the coffee, then you get the coffee. And all of a sudden, they patched a massive hole in their business. And I'm going to be bold enough to say that there are people who can come to this program and they don't realize that they need to reorder their value chain in order to patch some holes.
Correct. That's it. And that's the frightening thing. If you're listening to this, is there's a hole that currently exists in your business that is costing you hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of pounds per year.
Yeah, for your caliber clients, absolutely. At least hundreds of thousands.
And you don't even realize what it is because you're so busy running the business. And that's why you've got to create the space. So it's on our next event. The one we're talking about today is on June the 20th and 21st. It's at Warwick Conferences, which is on the Warwick University site. We'll put a link around this video. It's a members event. It's an event for members, and we get a handful of guests who are invited along. It's like the minority are invited along every time. So June 20th and 21st, follow the link, and we'll tell you how to apply and find out more info.
Indeed.